The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Monday, another week in a rev.
It's definitely getting ready. I mean, yesterday they had a wreath laying for they're calling it Veterans Week now. So they're going to have things, I guess they're going to have things going all week. But the big thing's going to be on Thursday when they bring the parades back to Bedford Street. Hasn't been on Bedford Street in I don't know how long.
Yeah,
but they're going to bring it back to Bedford Street to go from Stonehaven Road all the way down to Battleship Cove.
Yeah.
And then there'll be music, foods, and celebrations. So.
Yeah, I just wish they'd celebrate year round for the veterans. And
yeah, you know.
I've got a problem with you know, if you've been watching, they had veterans dying and living outside a VA clinic in Brentwood, California.
I saw that.
And they were living there for literally years. They wouldn't allow them their tents on the property, but they had all kinds of other commercial things on there, which it wasn't supposed to be. But finally, I guess after media attention on Fox, it's the only one that covered it, with veterans, you know, dying and committing suicide, and they finally have let them on the grounds. They were supposed to build housing for them, but they didn't. So, you know, it's nice to see veterans remembered, but not just for one day. You know, the sacrifices should be, you know, they should remember that, you know, we get to be what we are because of them.
You know, I'm wondering about that because we have money in this. I'm gonna swear now. Okay, I'm gonna warn the public. I'm gonna swear. We have money in the CPA.
Oh.
They're gonna lynch me outside.
That's it. Be still, my heart.
Exactly. But they have money in the CPA for affordable housing. And I'm wondering if they can use ARPA money for affordable housing, because if they can, they could redevelop the old Watuppa Heights section, because that's owned by the Housing Authority, take some of that money, put it into affordable housing over there, and make it work. The problem is they want to give that affordable housing money to a private developer. Why can't the city or the Housing Authority use that money?
Because then the only people that would benefit would be the veterans. It wouldn't be the private developer, bankers and rich people.
Right.
Therein lies the problem. Look, I've always been an advocate of basically taking any kind of property. We saw what happened in Detroit when he was selling properties for $1, rehabbing those properties and giving affordable housing to veterans who can't afford it, and creating housing for those who can't. Because, you know, these people, you know, they put a uniform on for this country. They went where they were sent, and you know, that sacrifice can't be minimized or diminished. And it's a sad commentary when the country that they wore a uniform for basically abandons them, lets them live out on the street. And we all know the suicide rate of veterans today. It was like, you know, it's like 22 a day.
Right.
And it's just unconscionable to me as a veteran. You know, I see these people that are having difficulties, and to be frankly, what really disturbs me is when I see people who are coming in here illegally, ignoring the laws of this country, and this bone bag we got for a president. You know, this mentally challenged bone bag that we have is perfectly comfortable with the Department of Justice giving these people reparations for committing a crime. You want to give them $450,000. How about giving every veteran in the country that doesn't have a home $450,000, you bozos, you Democratic nitwits? Give everything to people who don't deserve it. And now look what we got now. The United States has lifted sanctions on people coming into the country, flying into the country, but only if they're vaccinated.
That's right.
And only with FDA-approved vaccines, not the Russian Sputnik vaccine. Only with the. But if you're a goddamn illegal, get going. Come on.
Come on in, no vaccine.
Come in, no vaccine, no nothing. We're going to give you $450,000. We're going to fly you anywhere you want to go in the United States. And they call this justice and equity. The people who defended this country, they're taking a giant dump on every American.
I have an idea. Why don't you and I go to Mexico?
Yeah.
Okay? Don't bring any ID.
That's it.
Don't bring a passport, none of that. And then walk across the border and get the $450,000 and get a new place to live.
No, you're right. Look, it infuriates me. They just had 2 murders.
Yeah.
And one of them came in and posed as a teenager, and he's 23, and DHS and HSS, or whatever all these acronyms are, neither of them could prove his age, but they still let him in. And then the other guy actually got convicted of drunken driving, and they released him again. And both of these individuals committed murder. So they're taking a dump on every American. That's what they're doing. They're taking a giant dump right on you. You're going to pay 43% more for your heat. You're going to pay more for your electricity. You're paying so much, $175 a month more for your food.
Yep. And it's not. And when you go in the store, there's
everybody on the planet that can come into this country illegally is being rewarded, and they wonder why they keep coming. Because that's what they want. And you know the irony? The question was asked of the White House press secretary. Do legal immigrants who come into this country get the $450,000? And you know what her answer was? Well, I don't understand the question. Of course. That wasn't deflection. I don't understand the question. No, American citizens who need the money and legal immigrants do not get that money. But
right.
People who started their American experience by violating our borders.
Criminal action.
Criminal act. Are now going to get $450,000 a flight anywhere. No vaccine requirements. Nothing. They're bringing in bubonic plague and everything else. So don't get it. As you can see, I'm irritated, and I get more. The closer we get, you know what I do on Veterans Day? Nothing. I stay in the house, and because nothing aggravates me more than seeing all these people, pretending that they care, and then the next 364 days. Well, now it's going to be a week in Fall River, but the rest of the year nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about the $450,000 you're talking about, these people coming across the border, giving $450,000, they can go buy a house, pay cash for it.
Yeah.
They can pay for cash for a house. I can't pay cash for my house. You didn't pay cash for your house.
No, but remember, it's $450 per person.
Right.
So if there's two,
so they can buy mansions.
2 of them, they're millionaires.
They can buy mansions.
You get a couple, they're millionaires.
Yeah.
And wait till they start with the allotments for the children. It might be 2 or 3 million.
Yeah.
But nobody cares. I mean, these people they're lunatics. But the only great thing about this is they've done such a great job of highlighting how dysfunctional they are. And how they don't have a clue of reality. They live in a complete... Because they're all rich. They don't care. Nancy Pelosi with their $15 a pint ice cream and their $30,000 a plate fundraising dinners. They don't care. But guess what? They care now. They trampled all of them out there. They dragged them all to Virginia, and they lost.
That's it.
Every defund the police resolution went down throughout the country. They threw out 6 people in Minneapolis that wanted to defund the police from the council. We've got, and in Virginia, they got a Republican governor, a black lieutenant governor, and a Hispanic attorney general.
Talk about diversity.
Talk about diversity.
Oh boy, they got
and you know what the Dems' response to that was? They're all white supremacists. So the Latino and the black and the black lieutenant governor in Virginia, who, by the way, is a veteran. She's a former Marine, and her husband's a former Marine. They accused her of being a black mouthpiece for a white ventriloquist, and she's a white supremacist. So anybody that doesn't agree that we should give everybody that's not an American everything Americans can't get is a white supremacist. So, hey, I don't feel like I'm being persecuted, because no matter what color you are, you're a white supremacist. So they actually had the audacity, not once, but every single talking head on CNN and MSNBC and all the other liberal media outlets, they literally crucified her.
Well,
Yep, she doesn't have the right, even though she served their country. And as she said, she was willing to put her life on the line, and she wasn't even an American at that. She was a Jamaican. But she served her country, and her husband served their country. And heaven forbid, she took a picture with an AR-15. Oh my
big
Lord.
mistake.
Oh my Lord. Now it's everything now. But listen, if you're not upset, Fall River's always 10 years, New England's always 10 years behind California. And the only thing is, look at the rest of the country. There's been a red wave in this last election. Look at Jersey. Without those mail-in ballots, which they probably cheated on, they would have lost New Jersey. And the guy that ran in New Jersey was 20 points behind in the polls 3 weeks before the election. And it was less than 1% victory. So, I guess this is a warning to politicians. You can only crap on people so long, and finally they're going to get tired.
Was that the
and
truck
it looks
driver?
like we've reached that point.
Was that the truck driver?
Oh, yeah, the truck driver beat a guy that's been in Congress for like how many years?
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, the truck and
Ed Durr.
And wait a minute. This is the biggie. The truck driver that got elected, and God bless a working man. The truck driver spent, to get elected, a whopping $153 on his campaign.
I had heard that.
$153 to take out a political hack that had been in there for years and was financed by his own party for millions of dollars. $153. Well, if you haven't figured out that people are about up to their eyeballs with the crap you're giving them, you better wake up, Dems.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I want to bring it a little back locally here. The mayor was on the radio this morning,
Yes.
and he's going to Marty Walsh for recommendations on how to handle the ARPA money. Isn't Marty Walsh Secretary of Labor?
Yeah.
So what does he have to do with the ARPA money?
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Go directly to the source.
But what is our mayor doing? What politicians do best? Go see their buddies.
Yeah.
He's a buddy of his.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows them.
Right.
He's a bro.
Yep.
He's from Massachusetts.
And, the interesting part about it is I understand that the mayor is feeling kind of stretched with the ARPA funds because he doesn't know where he can spend it. And from what I was told, even though he allocated the $75,000 to recreation for the holiday parade, the mayor found out he may not be able to use ARPA money for that. He committed to giving them money, but it may not be coming out of ARPA now. It may be coming from somewhere else. I'd like to know where in his budget he would find $75,000. I personally don't think that the holiday parade qualifies for ARPA money, and I think that they need to really look at these things.
Well, listen, he's looking for money, and my prediction is they'll probably be able to use it any damn way they want, because this is a bailout for blue states who don't run their states right, and they're in debt up to their ears. You look at the other states like South Dakota, no state taxes, low taxes for their people, and they're running fine. And then you get these blue states, and this is a bailout money. Use the money to bail out and keep this on the shoestring until you're out of office, and let the next guy down the line. Look, I don't care if he gets approved for the ARPA money. That's not the point. The point is exactly what Sean Kadim and most of those counselors said. This creates structural deficits. You pay with one-time money bills that are going to be there every year. Ultimately, when you run out of these handouts, the bills are still there.
Right.
And we're going to take it on the chin. Granted, if he gets this money in his next 2 years, he'll say, well, I'm not raising this. I'm not going to increase that much, but they will. We'll get the debt override. But even if we don't, it's on the horizon. We're going to get it. We're going to get that debt override. We're going to get the debt override on Diamond. We're going to get increased fees. We're going to get everything. It's, this is like the sword of Damocles hanging over our head. It's coming. It's coming. It may not come right now. And they're going to spin that like what a great job they did. Listen, if I hit the lottery, I could probably live the rest of the year on the $1 million I made and not have to worry about my bills. But if I blow that $1 million, and I know people who have lottery, a lot of lottery people have blown it and end up bankrupt.
That's true.
So the problem is when you got one-time money and you blow it, you're not making $1 million. You're a millionaire if you make $1 million a year.
Right.
But if you hit $1 million on the lottery and you live like a millionaire, within a couple of years you're going to be out standing at the corner with a cup, and that's the way it's happened.
With a cardboard sign saying I'm homeless.
With a cardboard sign saying I used to be a millionaire. Look at me
exactly.
now.
What happened to me?
And this is what they're doing to the city.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing to cities throughout the country. These Democrats that run these states and cities into the ground. It's not the solution. It's a Band-Aid. It's not a solution, and I'm not gonna give him any credit for spending somebody else's money. He didn't put a budget together that was based on sound fiduciary and financial projections where we could sustain this long term. They don't care. They're just worried about this. He got by the election, so let's see what happens. Prove me wrong, please, Paul.
Yeah.
Please, prove me wrong. Start figuring out long-term solutions to these problems, okay? Even if you do use the ARPA money, that's not enough. Show me that you use this as a stopgap to now come up with ways that we're going to tighten our budget and protect the taxpayer, and I'll give you all the credit. We'll even bring you on the show, okay? And
it won't be a gas bag, that's for sure.
So, and we will publicly
apologize, yeah,
and sing your praises if you can do that.
Yep, I would too. I agree. Hey, I got a phone call over the weekend and a private message from a couple of city retirees. They received a letter speaking about they no longer have to have Medicare because they got something else. And I said, you need to call Chip to find out, because Chip knows what that letter is, because he probably wrote it or somebody else wrote it. You can't claim writing it because it's as clear as mud, I understand. But maybe you can explain a little bit what they're talking about, because people are complaining.
And by the way, CJ, thanks for having like hundreds of people call me over the weekend.
I only had two.
By giving them that advice. But look, and I really don't mind. Well, I do mind. I don't mind them calling me. I mind the fact that this letter was put out, and as you said, it was as clear as mud, and it actually said something that I at the last retirees meeting, which, by the way, for everybody, second Thursday of every month, except this month, because for Veterans Day, as I said, I don't do anything on Veterans Day except stay home and reflect, and go to my father's grave and clean off his World War II plaque. That's all I do on Veterans Day. So, but I don't mind them calling. But at the meeting, last month's meeting, we had that question come up. And the individual from the company said, "Oh no, yeah, well you don't have to. You can just leave your card at home." And everybody started, well, and I said, "Look, don't say that. Just tell them use your new card, show your new card." So let me say for the viewers, and we will reiterate this at the meeting, which is on the 18th this month rather than on Veterans Day. They are going to send out a clarification, and hopefully I am meeting with them and talking with. I've been talking with them since I got that letter and went ballistic. It is confusing. You know, I've had people think that they no longer had Medicare. They're off Medicare. They don't have to pay their Medicare bill anymore. It's not. It's a supplement, but it's a Medicare Advantage plan. And you know, the irony of this is CJ, like once a year I bring CJ into the retirees to explain Medicare, because he's an expert. He does a lot of Medicare stuff, a lot of Medicare claims. We've explained this. He's explained this. So I'll let CJ kind of encapsulate it and get specific. But listen, the way it works now is that if you go to a doctor or a hospital, they generate two bills. One bill is that they bill Medicare.
Correct.
Which is for your Medicare, that's
Right.
80%. And then they generate a second bill to your supplement, which is MedX at the time, if you're a city employee. That's your Medicare supplement. It
Correct.
stands alone. So there's two separate bills. This plan is part of the Medicare Advantage thing.
Yep.
So it's not separate anymore. Actually this company runs the billing and gets reimbursed for Medicare.
Right.
So they will not generate two bills. So realistically, they probably won't ask you for your Medicare card because it's a Medicare Advantage plan. But if anybody ever asks you, I said, look, if you really feel comfortable carrying it around, carry it around. You really don't. Once you introduce this at the beginning of the year to your providers, to your pharmaceutical, to all your doctors, the hospitals you go in, make sure you update your information so they're not they're billing the old plan, MedX. Will be okay, but you're still in Medicare. You're still going to have to pay your Medicare premiums.
Yep.
And the premium for this supplement is going to be lower than the premium you're paying at the present time. And hopefully we'll get out a letter that actually explains this and you know, I'm sorry that you guys had to go through this. We had made it pretty clear at the meeting, but apparently it got lost in the translation, and the letter was kind of confusing. We even had PhDs calling us that couldn't understand the letter. So, CJ, you want to kind of touch this?
Let me explain what a Medicare Advantage plan is. A Medicare Advantage plan is Plan A, Part B, and Part D. Part D is your drug plan, and that's called Part C. And what happens is you're paying your $148 a month to Medicare for this plan. They no longer will bill Medicare, they'll bill, in this case, I believe it's Aetna. Aetna Advantage PPO. And this is a PPO, which means you don't need a referral to get to see a doctor. And I do believe that Aetna Medicare Advantage is accepted by almost all physicians in the South Coast area. And the reason why I guess the city went with this plan is that it's a national plan.
Yeah, it's a group plan rather than an individual plan. So fundamentally what they were saying is any provider that accepts Medicare is you don't have to worry, you're covered. So, and it's not statewide, it's actually nationally, even anybody that accepts Medicare. So that's the key, but that's the point. The point is that now they bill Aetna rather than, so you don't have to get your Medicare.
Right.
The hospital's not concerned about your Medicare number anymore because they're going to bill them and they're going to process the claim. I mean, actually, that's the clearest explanation I've heard from anybody. Thank you, CJ. I hope people are watching. We're going to use that at the next meeting, and it's created a lot of consternation, and unfortunately, it's a problem. So.
Now, I've seen the marketing material for Aetna's Medicare Advantage program, the PPO version, and I know what they're offering the general public. I'm not sure what parts of the plan the city's getting, but the general public can get, like glasses and other coverages. And that was the whole plan behind Part C. You can get other benefits by going to a Part C plan. The Aetna plan is actually CVS. CVS owns Aetna. Amazing, isn't it? CVS owns everything.
They own either them or Walgreens.
Yeah.
That's about 99% of the market if you
Right.
take those two. So.
And from what I understand, your drugs are now going to be handled by the Medicare Advantage program, by Aetna, as opposed to the way the city's been handling it for you now.
Yeah, with Humana.
With Humana. And you're going to save a lot of money. The city's going to save a lot of money, supposedly. But again, we'll see how that works out. But these Medicare Advantage programs are beneficial to a lot of people. But to some people, they just don't like them because they want all the benefits, but then they get them and they're an HMO, which means they got to get a referral for everything. And the first thing you have to do is you have to contact your physician before you enroll in these plans to make sure that your physician, and physicians plural, accept Aetna. I'm sure that in the South Coast area, Aetna, because again, CVS is a local company, you know they're going to blanket their local area.
And just for clarity, this is a PPO.
Correct.
So it's a point of service. You don't need referrals. So in case anybody starts getting panicky, because that's what happens. They get, the message, it's a little complicated. Don't worry about it. This plan does have an eyeglass benefit. It does have a hearing aid benefit.
Yep.
It does have some other benefits that are not included now. We've gone over those at the retirees meeting. So this public service announcement was brought to you by Spindle City Straight Talk. And also I'm going to use it to hype the Retirees Association. Listen, we've been around a long time. We have a meeting on the second, except for this month because of Veterans Day, second Thursday of the month at 1:30 at the Liberal Club. So you are all, if you're a municipal retiree or in the Fall River retirement system, or a school teacher, even, because you're a municipal employee, you are eligible to be a member. It's $10 a year. We have virtually no money. We run on a shoestring, but it's because we want to keep our group together and pass information like this down. We have 2,450 retirees in this city. We comprise more people in a healthcare plan than all the actives put together. So, and it's hard to get our message out. If you come to the meetings, we cover this every single month. Come to the meeting on the 18th. We have a Christmas party every December for members that's worth more than the $10 that you get. So it's well worth it. People work hard. We try to keep everybody informed. But if you don't come to the meetings, you'll get a letter like this and you won't know what's going on. And but even the people who went to the meeting were a little confused because the letter really sucked.
Well, I mean, I've been to your meetings as a presenter, and I know that vendors are there.
Yeah.
So in this case, Aetna would be one of your vendors, and I'm sure they'll send a representative there to answer any of your questions, because this is going to be a lot of question asked. And I'm not sure, but does the Aetna plan take effect on January 1st?
January 1st, you got the letter very shortly. You'll be getting a packet. They actually sent you a picture of the new card. With a John Doe, obviously, but it says on there, Aetna, Medicare Advantage, PPO. So now, it's going to be fundamentally the same plan you have, except there's going to be no co-pays for doctors anymore, instead of the 5 that you got. Pharmaceuticals fundamentally will be tiered the same way. Might be cheaper. There'll be some. We have to look at that piece when it comes in, and we get all the pharmaceuticals through. We've addressed that. So it's fundamentally the same thing you've got with a lot more benefits. So we're out of time. So
well, not yet. Still got a minute. But again, look at that plan. This is the Medicare open enrollment period. That runs from October 15th to December 7th. And that's why this is happening right now, because this is the open enrollment plan, and this is the time that people start enrolling in new Medicare Advantage programs. So I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, the retirement meeting is the second Thursday, except for this month. It'll be on the 18th. Remember, stay safe. Hold your politicians accountable. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.